always walk through life as if you have something new to learn, and you will. Today, we will learn the techniques for effective group discussion and wind up the sessions with learning language through games. This national level student development program, which offers free online certificate course in effective English language development, is organized by V.V.N. Degree College, Bengaluru. V.V.N. Degree College, a unit of V.V.N. Trust, is one of the pioneer institutions in Bengaluru, providing academically excellent value-based education for girl students. Since its inception, Vasavi Vidyaniketan Degree College has pioneered the discipline of commerce. Our objective is to provide quality education to girl students and empower them. The college offers graduation course in commerce and has sustained its glorious track record all through the years. The institute is located in one of the most posh locations of Bengaluru, that is V.V.Puram near Basavanagudi, which makes it easily accessible and safe for girl students. V.V.N. Degree College, affiliated to Bengaluru City University, has created an indelible mark for upholding Indian culture and imparting quality education with the techno-savvy corporate training programs to enable the students to be confident, responsible citizens with positive thinking, and right orientation of mind to face life with all its opportunities and challenges. At V.V.N. Degree College, Vanivilas Road, V.V.Puram, Bengaluru in Karnataka, we offer BCom degree along with certificate courses for all the students. Along with BCom degree, the certificate courses in Computer Fundamentals, MS Office, Tally ERP9, Corel Draw, Photoshop, GST, and in soft skills, communication skills, soft skills, campus to corporate training are provided for the students. On this 14th day of effective English language development online course, I, Prasanna Udipikar, HOD of English at V.V.N. Degree College and the coordinator of this National Student Development Program, am privileged to welcome and introduce today's resource person of the first session, Professor Dr. Aparna Reddy from Hyderabad on techniques for effective group discussion. Dr. V. Aparna Reddy, Assistant Professor, Mahatma Gandhi Institute of Technology, has about 20 years of teaching experience at undergraduate and postgraduate levels. Professor Dr. Aparna's research area is writing skills, empowering learners in process writing and exploratory study. Her classroom is her research lab, where she loves to explore and experiment various teaching strategies. Professor Dr. Aparna has organized national and state level events and workshops related to language and theater for students. Dr. Aparna Reddy has designed and offered language proficiency courses for undergraduate students, teachers, and academic staff. She strongly believes that language learning should not be confined to classroom, but should be explored outside the classroom by introducing fieldwork for language learning. On behalf of management members, CEA&A, principal, faculty members, and all the students at V.V.N. Degree College, and all the participants who have joined this course, I extend a hearty welcome to V.V.N. Trust, CAIS Prasad, Secretary General of V.V.N. Trust, Shri Raj Kumar, Chairperson of Governing Council, Akhilesh Babu, Co-Chairman of Governing Council, CEA and A, Dr. K. Sheshamurthy, Principal Professor G. Venugopal, and all the faculty members to this online course. I also extend a very hearty welcome to all the participants who have joined this program. And now over to Professor Dr. Aparna Reddy to learn the techniques of effective group discussions.
Good morning.
Yes.
Good morning to one and all. I congratulate the management, the principal, director, and staff of V.V.N. Degree College, Bengaluru, for conducting such a wonderful program, student development program on such a magnitude. And at a national level. In fact, we always keep hearing about faculty development programs, but I think this is the only and very noble idea of conducting a student development program at such a magnitude.
Thank you.
I'm extremely happy about it, and I congratulate the coordinator, Professor Prasanna Madam, for conducting the program so very well. She's a perfect coordinator, I can say. And kudos to Prasanna ma'am too.
Thank you, madam. Thank you.
A very good morning to my dear friends. I hope all of you are doing well. Yes. So today's topic is techniques for effective group discussion. Techniques for effective group discussion. I'll start sharing the screen, friends. Okay. Um, so before we start the PPT, uh, madam, is it visible?
Yes, it's visible. Could you make it full screen? Full screen?
Yes, full screen. Yes, yes.
Yes. Yes, we can see it.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for the introduction and giving a warm welcome. So happy morning, friends. A very good morning and happy morning. So the topic is techniques for effective group discussion. I hope I'm clear and audible. My voice is fine.
Yes, yes.
So I'm going to share the slides with you. But before that, now the moment we say group discussion, right? Obviously, it is a test for speaking skills. So, but group discussion is not the only one which is a test for speaking skills. We have jam, just a minute. We have elocution. We have debate. There are so many other areas where speaking skills are assessed. But what is so special about group discussion? Now, this is where we have to see the difference between group discussion and a debate, group discussion and interview, group discussion, elocution, right? So, what are the strategies that we can adapt, and what are the techniques that we should be familiar with in order to take part in the group discussion and be successful and come up with flying colors? Right. So this is an overview of my presentation, friends. So we're going to first see what a GD is, why a group discussion, okay, and how is it conducted, and what is assessed in a group discussion. I'm sure. So if you say what is a GD, I'm sure each one of you has a definition, right, on your mind. Each one of you would define differently. Okay, so let's see what a group discussion is, right? So GD is usually defined as a discussion among a group of people to solve a problem or have a common consensus or to share information. It is a systematic, purposeful, interactive oral process. It aims at problem solving, decision making, and personality assessment. GD skills are very useful for everyday life and it is a test for listening and speaking skills. Friends, see, we do have discussions on a day-to-day basis. So what is so special about this group discussion? For example, if we talk about the informal group discussion, we have them at home with the family members, discussions on the college campus, discussions in the canteen, right? So these are all informal discussions. But when we talk about a group discussion, it is a formal one, it is a systematic, and which aims at certain things. So, what are the characteristic features of this group discussion and what should we be ready with? The most important thing of a group discussion is it is a perfect test for listening skills and speaking skills students. It is a perfect test for listening and speaking skills. Most of us are under the impression that it's only a test of speaking skills, but listening too. For example, the other day you have learned the importance of listening. Listening is the mother of all skills. It is said that good listeners are always better speakers. So, only when you listen to the fellow participants of that group, you'll be able to contribute your ideas judiciously, right? Meaningfully. Okay? So, it is, remember that it's a test for listening and speaking skills. Now, if we move on to the next slide, why a group discussion? Why is this given so much of importance, friends? Right? These days, everybody is talking about group discussion, right? And how is it different from the other testing skills, right? Why a GD? GD is conducted where, when is it usually conducted? It is usually conducted during the recruitment process, right? It is usually conducted for admission to higher education program, or it is also conducted to resolve an issue within the organization and also to come up with various strategies or solutions, friends, right? So I think some of you have already gone through the process on the campus for this, and some of you who aim for higher education program after you finish your graduation and you want to go for your PG programs, right? GD is one of the important aspects. After the written examination, the students are further screened for this group discussion. Now, why a GD? Why not directly an interview? Okay, because group discussion tests the interpersonal skills, it tests the group behavior, it tests the leadership qualities. Okay, group discussion basically, because these days people are giving a lot of importance to what is called as soft skills, right, students? Soft skills. So that's become a buzz term now, soft skills. And communication skills is one of the soft skills. So there are so many other skills, soft skills, which are assessed, right, which are gauged. So these come to surface when you are in a team. It is different to be individual and it is different to be in a group. Why a group discussion, right? Now, how is, we'll discuss some of these in detail as we go further, friends. Now, how is GD different from a debate and an interview? Okay, GD different from a debate and an interview. Now, first, before we look at the differences, what is the common thread among the three? Group discussion, debate, and an interview. What is common about these three? What is common about these three? That these three are part of presentations. These three can be called presentation. Presentation is not just the seminar presentation. Seminar presentation is not just a paper presentation. Presentation is not, you know, taking part in conferences and seminars. A dance performance is a presentation. A musical concert is a presentation. An interview is a presentation. The candidate presents himself or herself in front of the panel members. Right? Debate is a presentation. So also a GD is a presentation. Right? So you present your views, you share your views in a team. So that's the common thing. But then what is the difference? Usually, what difference do we find between, for example, GD and a debate? Right? Both are tests for speaking skills, but GD is a test for a listening skill also. first thing, these are some of the aspects. If you look at the differences, they vary from one another in seating arrangement, they vary from one another in number of participants, they vary from one another in topic exploration, interpersonal skills, intrapersonal skills, rigidity, flexibility, and so on. For example, students, if we compare debate and a GD, right? The first thing is you look at the seating arrangement, right? GD seating arrangement is a little more informal, right? It is more amiable and amicable. The seating is in a circular or semicircular manner round a table, for example. Whereas in a debate, you find that the participants sitting opposite to one another or standing opposite to one another, right? In a debate, but you don't find that in a group discussion. So automatically, you feel more at ease in a group discussion when compared to a debate. Next thing is between GD and a debate, number of participants. For example, a debate you have two individuals, two opponents, right, who take part, who participate, or two different teams, one opposing and the other one speaking for it, participating in a debate. In a GD, the number of participants preferable is always odd number. For example, we can start with minimum of 3 students, 5 participants, or 7 or 9, preferably 9, preferably odd number, friends. Why odd number? Not that odd number is auspicious than the even number, but the odd number of participants, it is just to avoid the team or the group to be divided into two different teams and end up in a debate. That is why odd number of participants is preferable for a group discussion. And there's another difference between a group discussion and a debate, friends. In a debate, you as a participant will either speak for the topic or against the topic. For example, if I say 18 years is the right age to vote, 18 years is the right age to vote, right? If you're participating on this topic for a debate, usually you either speak, yes, I agree that 18 years is right age to vote, and you go on, you support, right? And there's another participant who says, no, I disagree with this, opposite. But in group discussion, what happens is, though you start, for example, candidate A starts saying that, yes, my friends, I agree with this topic, that 18 years is the right age to vote, and then goes on, starts giving examples. And then in the midst of the discussion, after listening to the others, candidate A wants to change his opinion, wants to change his view. Oh, earlier he said he supported it, but then after listening to the others, he wants to differ in his opinion. So he can. That doesn't happen in a debate. Does that happen in a debate? No. In a G, probably that can be seen positively as a flexibility. That the candidate is not too rigid and dogmatic in his views or expressions, but then he's, going with the team and has perceived the, points of the others and then decided to change his or her view. That can happen in a group discussion, but it doesn't happen in a debate. And there's one more difference between a group discussion and a debate, friends, right? Usually, for a debate, the topic is announced 1 hour before or a day before, right? But for a group discussion, the topic is the topic is not announced beforehand. The topic is not announced beforehand. It's almost an impromptu one, right? So it is not, the candidate cannot go prepared on any topic, but generally has to be prepared with the current affairs. We'll deal with that a little later. Now, a group discussion and an interview, you all know that the candidate has to face the panel members, right? Feels very nervy, sometimes feels that he's being cornered, right? But that in a group discussion is a healthier and more agreeable one. Now, if you look at the group discussion, as I said earlier, friends, that it is a presentation. So just like any other presentation, it should have an introduction, the body, and the conclusion. For example, you go for an exam, okay, a written presentation, your exam. So your answers will definitely have an introduction, the main content, and the conclusion. So also a group discussion. It cannot be started, it just cannot start like that. It cannot conclude abruptly. So that also should have a proper initiation. You can always start a group discussion with the quote, an apt quote if you can remember, or definition. Definition here doesn't mean that it is a textbook definition, right? A rigid definition. For example, the first speaker initiates the discussion, says, "Good morning, everybody. Good morning, my dear friends. And this is the topic that has been given for a discussion. So I would like to begin the discussion. For example, this is what this topic means to me. Okay, so your own definition you can start, or sometimes questions, rhetoric questions. For example, the first speaker, the initial speaker, would just like to start and leave it there for the rest of the participants to pitch in. May it start with rhetoric questions. Okay, short anecdotes also is fine. And then you have to quickly move on to the main content where all the details are discussed, analyzed properly, support with lots of examples. Okay, and then bring it to a proper conclusion. When you talk about conclusion, friends, please remember that you don't have to wait for the buzzer to go. Don't wait for somebody, the evaluator or the recruiter who's been assessing you, to remind you that it's time for you to wrap it up. So you need to be conscious of the time and bring it to a gradual close, right? And usually in conclusion, avoid providing new points. Do not suggest anything new. It's just a sum up of what has been discussed and emphasize on the important points, right? Now, the most important thing, what is assessed in a GD? What are the parameters assessed in a GD, friends? Okay, obviously these are some of the important ones which I felt, so I'm sharing with you. Subject knowledge or topic knowledge, communication skills, leadership skills, team management, problem solving, decision making, conflict management, and time management. So if we move on to the first parameter, that is subject knowledge or topic knowledge. For example, have a command over the topic, discuss the topic threadbare, substantiate with examples, explore the topic completely from all aspects. Now here, as I said earlier, for a group discussion, the topic is not announced beforehand. Okay, the participants go there with a small notepad and a pen. This is a must, friends. Please remember, you carry a small notepad with you, a scribbling pad and a pen always for a GD. Okay, so the topic is announced then and there, and then they give you a couple of minutes to ponder over the topic, right? So that's the time when you have to quickly brainstorm for ideas. Brainstorming is a good technique. It's a strategy in order to stimulate your brain, your thinking, in order to come up with points. You need ideas. Okay, fine, this is the topic, right? Now, the education system needs revamping. Yes, after so many years, now, for example, we have come up with a new education policy, right? For example, you have to quickly jot down points on the given topic, maybe in that couple of minutes, and be ready with it. And discuss the topic threadbare. What does this mean, friends? Explore the topic to a maximum extent. Right, you explore the topic, you discuss the topic from all aspects, from all angles. Okay, now for example, if it's a topic on education, okay, the evaluation system of our present education needs a change. For example, if that is the topic, as a student, obviously you would be focusing only on the points as a student would do. But then you have to move out of that. You have to think from the curriculum point of view, the teacher's point of view, or the society point of view on the topic given. Explore the topic to the fullest extent. Discuss the topic threadbare. Is discuss the topic 360 at 360 degrees level, not just being biased and prejudiced. Please remember this. Do not be biased and prejudiced in your sharing of views on the given topic. It is not appreciated, students. You need to have a broader knowledge. You need to discuss on a wider spectrum. You should be able to think and share your views from all the aspects, from all corners. That is appreciated. So, which means rigidity is not appreciated. You need to be broad minded, you need to appreciate the other's views also, and explore to the maximum extent topic knowledge or subject knowledge. Now, look at this. The next important thing, communication skills. I think all of you are almost coming towards the end of the student development program on effective language skills. I'm sure you would have learned so much and realized the importance of communication. So, communication, the moment we utter the word communication, it's just not verbal expression, but you have non-verbal expression, verbal, non-verbal, and para-language skills, where all the three are complementary to one another, friends. All the three are complementary to one another. Okay, it's just not the it's not the words that you express, but other things are also important. For example, verbal expression or verbal communication. What people say is that verbal communication is all about the usage of the right expressions at the right time. Okay, the speaking the right thing at the right time is said to be effective communication, right? So that's very important. You should be able to use. Yeah, I know sometimes we won't be able to think of the right word or the right expression, but then if you keep trying, also doesn't matter. If you keep trying, also you can use the think of the right term. Now, usage of idioms, proverbs, figures of speech, if familiar with them. Usage of idioms, proverbs, figures of speech, if familiar with them. Because this is an oral presentation. This is an oral presentation. So this has room for idiomatic expressions. So what is the difference between idioms and proverbs? I'm sure you know the difference. Yes, students? Right? Idioms are metaphorical expressions, right? For example, to be on cloud nine, right? You have won something and you have achieved something. I feel as if I'm on cloud nine. It's raining cats and dogs, right? And a lion's share, for example, all these. Proverbs are expressions which have been coined by people based on their experiences. Right? You can also use figures of speech, you can use similes, metaphors, if you're familiar. I'm not saying that these are hardened, these should be used. If appropriate, you judge. You are the better judge. Immediately if you can think of some of these expressions, you can use them. And shorten the forms and question tags. These are very familiar in oral presentations. Shortened forms like I instead of saying I would, I instead of saying I will, we'd instead of saying we would. This, we do use in dialogues and conversations shortened forms. Question tags, right? Question tags. It's a pleasant day today, isn't it? Right? So question tags just for assurance. So make use of these appropriately, students. Okay, doesn't matter. See, sometimes when some of us feel that no, I'm not so good in my language skills, I won't be able to. Don't have a negative impression. Your participation, your sharing ideas is important, right? There. Now, non-verbal communication. This is given a lot of importance these days. People come in the theory of communication says that only 7% of weightage is given to words. The rest of the thing is all non-verbal communication. So what are these? I'm sure you're familiar with these things. Eye contact, facial expressions, gestures, posture, etc. Now, in a GD, what is the relevance of non-verbal communication, students? Eye contact. For example, when you're participating in a group discussion, just do not maintain eye contact only with the person sitting next to you or the person who's sitting opposite to you, but have a pleasant eye contact with everybody in the team to assure, to tell them that yes, each one of you is important, each one of you is listening to me, what I am sharing. Eyes are said to be the windows to the soul. Eyes are said to be the windows of your soul. So you know the importance. We are not going to go into the details of these things, but we'll see the relevance of non-verbal communication. Facial expressions. Yes, facial expressions. Facial expressions, for example, right? Uh, this is at subconscious level. We need not put in words in order to put up those facial expressions. But then it is also important for us to have a control over our facial expression. Sometimes we may be disheartened, right, or discouraged by fellow mates' statements, right. But then you still need to have a composure, maintain equanimity, and then maintain a calm. And because that's a group discussion, that's not a place where you would like to combat with one another. So facial expressions do play an important role. Gestures, gestures. For example, some of them have the habit of showing finger at others while participating in the group discussion. For example, they say that you said this, you did this, you said that. This is very wrong. Pointing out the finger at somebody. And you may be carrying a pen also or pencil in your hand. Do not point out at anybody like that. Okay, that is against the uh, evaluation. I mean, you will be credited for that. So check your gestures also. You can use minimal gestures, so they're automatic. We don't have to put in efforts. Facial expressions and gestures. Eye contact, yes, you have to put in a little more efforts to say that you are paying attention to everybody in the team. Posture, posture. For example, the way you sit, cross-legged. Some of them sit cross-legged, right? As long as you are not touching the others, right? The space that is given to you is very important. You have to respect the space that you have and the respect the space of the others. So, for example, some of them sit in a very couch manner, right? That is a sign of disinterest. That is a sign of being, lethargic, right? That could also express that, oh, I'm not interested in this discussion, right? So you need to sit alert, you need to be alert, you need to sit straight. That posture talks a lot. So all these being assessed by the evaluator, the moderator who's sitting there. Sometimes you may not speak for the first 2-3 minutes or the 5 minutes, the first 5 minutes, but then you will be sending signals through your non-verbal communication, friends. So please do take care of these non-verbal communications. The next thing is, for example, paralanguage skills. Paralanguage skills. So voice modulation, diction, intonation. Voice modulation, diction, and intonation. Para language skills. Para means on par. So voice modulation, very important. So voice has immense power, friends. Right? You should be able to win the audience with your voice. Your voice should be audible, it should be clear, there should be clarity and audibility. These are very important. And modulation. Avoid monotonous tone. You can bring in changes in your voice. For example, when we have a telephonic conversation, you don't see the person on the other side, but still your voice reflects a lot. Whether you are, energetic, or whether you are intending to listen to the other person, on the very first word, hello, tells how energetic and how lively you are, whether you're interested in talking to the person or not. Voice has immense power. So use it properly, use it properly. Okay, it doesn't mean that you have to shout or you have to scream at the top of your voice, but then it conveys a lot. In fact, these are the things which give more importance to communication, right? So diction, correct pronunciation. This is where phonetics plays an important role. Students should be able to pronounce the terms correctly, avoid mother tongue influence, use neutralizers, etc. Intonation, for example, the rising tone, the falling tone, okay, these things also matter a lot. Now let's move on to the next parameter, which is leadership skills. It's a group discussion. This is where you can see the difference between an elocution and a group discussion, right? A jam, just a minute, and a group discussion. You are in a team, you are in a group, right? Every team has a coordinator. Okay, if you don't like to use the word leader, use a coordinator, right? Somebody who can take care of the team. But then nobody is given the tag as a leader. Nobody is titled as a leader in the group. The leader emerges. I'm sure when I say leadership, you all have your own definitions of leader. Yes, you all have who's a leader, who's a true leader. List of things, definitions come down there. but then the leader emerges in a group discussion, as I told you. Usually, a person who initiates the discussion, a person who invites the others to share views, a person who encourages and motivates the team, a person who is self motivated, and a person who is a good decision maker in a team is a good leader, friends. A leader is not the one who dominates, who's domineering and takes away the rest of the time of the others. But a leader should be able to encourage and motivate, should be able to perceive, right? There may be some candidates who are very shy, who do not open up immediately in a discussion, who need more time. So all these, generally the person who initiates the discussion continues to be, have a control over the team. Have a control over the team means, but the success of the group discussion, remember that at the end of it, we should have been able to come up with a solution. We should have had a common consensus within the time limit. This is very important, friends. Okay, and the leader should be consistent and persistent. It just doesn't mean that okay, I start the discussion and my role is over. No, if you have taken the initiative, these qualities automatically come to surface. Leadership qualities are innate. They automatically come to surface. A good leader begins, gives an equal opportunity to everybody, right? Sees to it that the discussion is moving on the right track, okay? And then is consistent and persistent. I would like to use these terms, friends, consistent and persistent, and not just exhaust his or her ideas at the beginning and keep mum and not bothered about what is happening, right? So I'm sure we can add many more qualities of a leader. Now, this is the most important thing, team management, right? uh, for example, cooperation and coordination by each and every one. Remember that in a group, each one of you has significant role to play. Each one of you has to play an important role in order to make the discussion a successful one. At the end of it, have we arrived at a proper strategy? Do we have a solution for it? Okay, it's just not two or three candidates who are dynamic and active who are going to lead the discussion, right? Each one of you is the strength for the team. Okay, so remember that you have to be independent and interdependent. So I would just like to give you an example here for team management. How do we? How does a garland? How is a garland prepared? A garland has flowers, and what is the connecting one? Connecting the flowers, the thread. So the thread is very important. Each one of you should be able to connect to one another very well. For example, here, now when somebody starts the discussion, okay, and the second person wants to continue from there, the second speaker should be able to summarize what the first person has said and then express his or her views. The second speaker should be able to connect to the first speaker. The third speaker should be able to connect to the first and second speaker. So this cohesion or coherence is very important, right? When we say group discussion, just sharing of your views individually is not a good discussion. It's not a successful discussion. This is where listening skills are important, students. That's why in the very first slide I said it is a test for perfect listening and speaking. Only when you have listened to the previous speakers, you would be able to continue from there. Do not share your views out of the blue. So that is being assessed there, whether you have listened to the previous speaker. You can either agree or disagree with the previous speaker and go ahead with your opinions, right? So that is very important in a team, and it's a perfect assessment for interpersonal skills. How are you? Are you comfortable in a teamwork, right? So usually in interviews they ask a question also: Are you a team performer or are you an individual, right? Worker. Some of us may be good in our intrapersonal intelligence. We may not be so good in interpersonal skills. But at the interview level, we can say that, yes, though I am more accomplished working individually, I think I perform better individually, but I would definitely like to improve my team skills. But in a group discussion, it's a direct test for team skills. It's a test for interpersonal skills. Where are you able to respect others' views? Are you able to take everybody with you and go ahead? It's like sieving, you take everybody's views and opinions and then sieve it and then move forward. Go ahead, right? You should be able to do this. Now, group discussion is also known for problem solving. It is resolving issues, lateral thinking, analytical, broad minded, emotional balance, and wider perspective. Um, yeah, problem solving, for example, when the topic itself is a problem, right? It's an issue. How do you go ahead, right? What kind of suggestions do you give, right? It's a perfect area for lateral thinking. Are you rigid in your thinking? Are you broad minded? Are you open minded? You accept others' ideas. It is thinking on one's feet, friends. Group discussion is thinking on one's feet. A quick, analysis of the situation, and then able to move ahead. And it is also, very important for you to maintain your emotional balance. These days, there's a lot of importance given to emotional quotient. Earlier, it was IQ, intelligence quotient, but now there's a lot of talk about emotional balance, emotional quotient. What are these emotional quotients? What are these emotional feelings? Right? Am I getting angry? Am I getting frustrated? Am I getting annoyed with the other statements? Yes, I may be getting annoyed with what others are speaking, but this is not the time and the place for me to have an argument, become, vociferous and animated and start, quarreling. But you need to have a control over your emotions. You need to have a check of your emotional balance. For example, in interviews also, they give you a hypothetical situation and ask you to react to it. So indirectly, there is a check for emotional balance. For example, H.G. Gardner, the American educationist and philosopher, talks about 8 kinds of intelligences that each one of us may be bestowed with. Not all the 8 intelligences, but we may be bestowed with any one of them. For example, logical intelligence, verbal intelligence, interpersonal intelligence, intrapersonal intelligence, musical intelligence. Each one of may be good in something or the other. The emotional quotient is having a check on your feelings, right? And then move ahead. Conflict management, agree to disagree. Obviously, you are in a team. You all will have different opinions, varied opinions, but then do not fear to disagree with others. You will daily usage of the right expressions like, I'm sorry, I don't think I can agree with what you have said, but I have a different opinion. Right? This is how you can go ahead. Here you have to have a check over both your voice modulation, your tone, and the words that you use, and then put forward what exactly you would like to say. Right? And remember, it should be solution oriented and use your diplomacy and discretion also. These are also some of the skills that are tested. How diplomatic you are instead of just favoring. What happens is the human tendency whenever we are in a group, we tend to support, we tend to, be in favor of one or two people in the team. But that's not the place where you have to show that. You have to be quite diplomatic and take everybody along with you and go ahead. Okay? Then time management is something which is very important. Time is success. People say that time is success. Okay, as I said earlier, do not wait for the evaluator or the moderator to keep reminding you of the time, saying that you have only 2 minutes or 3 minutes, right? So you have to pay attention to the time. And sometimes what happens is we get drifted away from the main theme during the discussion. So it is very important for each one of you to assess and think whether what we are discussing is relevant. Okay, distinguish between relevant and irrelevant points, and especially the person who takes the initiative or who is said to be who takes up the leadership should be constantly reminding, right, the rest of them that it is that time for them to um, go ahead with the right points. Now, characteristics of a successful GD. What are the important characters? We have seen looked at the parameters of a GD. Now, characteristics of a successful GD, like for example, agreement on group goal, goal-oriented interaction, agreement on procedure, cooperative and friendly atmosphere, effective communicative techniques, equitable distribution of participation, and shared leadership. Now, the key points of a successful GD are content, communication, and group behavior. right? So, for example, in group behavior, I used this quote, Phil Jackson's quote: "The strength of the team is individual member. The strength of each member is the team." Right. So, this is just keep this in mind while we participate in a GD. Now, next we move on to types of GDs, friends. What kind of topics can you expect? Because it is an impromptu participation. It is unlike debates or elocution. The topic is not known beforehand. So we can broadly categorize the topics into three. Like this is what I have done: concrete and fact-oriented, or current affairs, general topics as one category. The second one, abstract topics, and sometimes case studies can also be given for discussion. Okay. Now, how should one be ready with the topic? Now, if you know that you are participating in a GD, you know that you have a campus placement in another 10 days. Okay. So you have to keep yourself updated. You have to keep yourself abreast of what is happening. The best thing is watch the news channels, good news channels. You can watch NDTV, you can watch CNN, you can watch the good news channels where discussions and debates are going on at national level and international level. What is happening? Keep yourself updated and keep yourself abreast of what is happening around you. Now, moving to abstract topics. Abstract topics are topics that are abstract topics are topics that are
Yes.
Hello.
Ah,
Yes, there was
you
a
are not audible in between.
in between. Yes,
Network.
yes, ma'am. Yes,
Network
yes.
issues. Yeah.
Technical problem. Okay. Uh,
Network problem.
is it clear now? Is
Yeah,
it
yeah, it's
audible?
clear.
Oh,
Yes, it's
okay.
audible.
Right. Yes, friends, we are discussing the types of group discussions, concrete and abstract. For example, when you are taking part in this fact-oriented or current affairs, you should be ready with the right data. Remember that you cannot just speak in air. You just cannot speak whatever comes to your mind. That's very important. When you take examples, also support that with the data that you have. So that is the reason why I'm saying maybe you have to read newspapers, you have to watch news, right? Make a note of some of the important points. When you know that you have to participate in a group discussion, that always helps. On the D day, when you are participating in group discussion, the small book that you carry, quickly, as soon as the topic is announced, you brainstorm for ideas and jot them down because they're going to help you. Now, moving to abstract topics. Abstract topics, like for example, any quotes can be given. For example, they can say that, a thing of beauty is a joy forever. John Keats' statement, one of the beautiful lines of his poems, or beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder. Or, for example, Shakespeare's saying, all the world is a stage and all men and women are mere players. Come on, have a discussion on it. These are all examples of abstract topics. Abstract topics are good in interpretations. Each one of us has a different interpretation of it. Okay, so there is a wider scope of discussion and interpreting the topics, unlike the first category. Now, when we move on to case studies also is a problem that is given. A case is provided to all the participants. Probably a sheet is circulated to all the participants where the case is mentioned there, the problem or the situation is given there, and they're given a couple of minutes to go through it and then start the discussion on it. So these are the different kinds of topics. Let us quickly see what are the do's and don'ts before we go ahead with the video. I will play a video after this, after the do's and don'ts. Okay, this is just a quick recall of what all we have discussed. Do's, for example, listen to the other participants actively and carefully, make original points and support them by substantial reasoning. Friends, share your ideas at regular intervals. What does this mean? Okay, when the topic is announced, like some of us may feel that not very confident or competent enough to start the discussion immediately. Doesn't matter. You can wait for a couple of minutes and see how the discussion starts and how it is proceeding, and then you can pitch in, you can share your views. And do not be too excited also to share all your ideas at one go. Please, you have to contribute at regular intervals. Don't think that, okay, I have taken first 2 minutes and 3 minutes, my job is over. No, you have to be consistent in your sharing of your views at regular intervals. Whatever you say must be with a logical flow. As I said earlier, that cohesion is required. That thread which connects the flowers is very important, friends, right? You should listen to what the previous speaker has said and connect your ideas from there. You may agree, you may disagree, but then it's a test. It shows that you have been listening to the others. Then validate your thoughts with examples. Yes, cite as many examples as you can. Be assertive and not aggressive. This is very important. Difference between assertive and aggressive. Generally, in debates, we tend to become more aggressive and animated and vociferous. But here, you need to express your points with conviction. Right? Maintain your emotional balance. Be an active and dynamic participants. Don'ts, for example, don't be nervous and shy away from discussion. Okay, even if you are not competent enough, you wait and then you share. You have to share. Don't wait for the others to tell you that it's now your turn to discuss. It is always better to pitch in as early as possible. Don't involve in crosstalk. It generally happens. When somebody is sharing views, I tend to talk to the person sitting next to me, right, in small whispers. That should be avoided. That is not at all accepted in our discussion. Don't get emotional and raise your voice when perturbed. Yes, it happens that we may be, attacked verbally by the other person, right? Certain statements shared by the others are very discouraging and disgruntling, but do not get emotional. Don't express negative and non-verbal communication. Like sometimes with our gestures show that we are very agitated, unhappy, furious, right? Our gestures convey, though we may not be uttering any word. Please put a check on these things. Okay, don't use irrelevant material. Don't repeat and waste time of the team. Don't speak in favor of anyone. Don't violate the decorum of the discussion. Okay, friends, I would like to play a video here. Uh, please listen to it, and I hope it will be useful for you.
Hi, I'm Brad Callen, and in this video, I'm going to show you how anyone can quickly and easily create doodle videos, just like the one you're watching right now, using Doodly, our drag and drop doodle software that allows...
Hi, my name is Rebecca, and in today's lesson, you'll learn how to participate effectively in a discussion in English, something you may need to do in your personal, professional, or academic life, okay? Now, the topic we'll use as our sample is this one. Is it better to study online or in a regular classroom? Okay? You'll have a chance to hear a discussion by native English speakers on this topic. What I'd like you to do is listen for any special expressions and phrases that they use during the discussion. Afterwards, I'll review the expressions and phrases with you. Okay? Now, today I have some special friends who have agreed to help me with this lesson, and they're waiting in the classroom next door. So let's go and say hello to them.
Is this video? Is this video or audio, Aparna madam?
It's both audio and video.
But video is not seen on the screen.
Okay, one
Yeah.
second.
Okay. Ah, yes. Now we can see.
Now it is visible?
Yes, it's visible.
Start.
Yes.
Hi, my name is Rebecca, and in today's lesson, you'll learn how to participate effectively in a discussion in English, something you may need to do in your personal, professional, or academic life, okay? Now, the topic we'll use as our sample is this one. Is it better to study online or in a regular classroom? Okay? You'll have a chance to hear a discussion by native English speakers on this topic. What I'd like you to do is listen for any special expressions and phrases that they use during the discussion. Afterwards, I'll review the expressions and phrases with you. Okay? Now, today I have some special friends who have agreed to help me with this lesson, and they're waiting in the classroom next door. So let's go and say hello to them. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you? Well, look who's here. It's Ronnie.
Alex. Hey. Adam.
Thank you for joining me, and thanks for helping me with this lesson, guys.
No problem. No problem.
So you know we're talking about discussions, and the topic is it better to study online or in a regular classroom? Okay. Who wants to go first?
Okay, so I'll start. And I think that it's actually very good to study online because it's very convenient because you can study whenever you want and at your own pace. And for example, someone like me, I like to study at nighttime. So for me, online works better because it's quiet at night, no one disturbs me, and I can do what I need to do. Okay.
That's true, but if you're going to study online,
Sorry, but
you do need. Please let me finish. As I was saying, that's true, but if you're studying online, you do need to motivate yourself. So I think it's better to be in a classroom where you have other students and a teacher who can motivate you.
That's true, but some people can't afford to go in a classroom and don't have enough money or resources to actually go in a big school. So studying online, you can actually do it for free.
Well, I would like to add. May I say something?
Sure.
Soft skills. That's not usually talked about in schools, but when we talk about soft skills, it's actual interaction, utilizing your English when you're with other people. That's hard to get online because you're watching a screen, not actually interacting with other people. You make a very good point, but I would also like to add that sometimes having classmates takes you away from your focus because you have to maybe review things many times for other people to catch up, or you have to do topics that are interesting to other people, not to yourself. So it's a little distracting sometimes too. However, focus is a good thing. I mean, it's not a bad thing to repeat something because sometimes people don't catch the material the first time. So that way you go over the material and they get, you get depth. So you get to learn more, and people who don't understand get the opportunity to ask questions and learn from it again.
Yeah, but sometimes the resources that you get in the classroom are boring, and online you can just look up whatever you need on the internet, and you've got it right there. You don't have to rely on a textbook. Some kind of can be bad textbook.
Okay, don't get me wrong. I mean, there are good resources on the internet, like engvid.com.
I'm sorry, did you say engvid.com?
I did say engvid.com.
Oh, I've heard of engvid.com. I think I have too.
Me too.
I'll check it out. Anyway.
Okay, good website. So as I was saying, don't get me wrong. I think there are excellent resources online. However, some students who are just learning English for the first time might not know how to judge the quality of resources. So I think if you go to a school, if you're inside a classroom, you're with a teacher who is trained, is a professional, and who can give you the resources you need to improve your English.
Well, it's a good thing you said about professional teachers, because at England,
I can agree to that.
you agree with that?
Okay. All right. Thank you very much for your help, guys.
No problem.
So now I'll review some of the phrases and expressions that you heard in the discussion.
Right, and I think that it's actually very good to study online.
I think is used when you're going to express your opinion. You could also say I believe and so on. Next.
That's true, but if you're going to study online,
However, focus is a good thing.
Yeah, but sometimes the resources that you get in the classroom are boring.
Okay, these three phrases, that's true, but, or however, or yeah, but, are used, what do you think? They're used when we want to contradict what someone else has said, when we disagree with what someone else has said. Okay, next.
You make a very good point, but I would also like to add that sometimes having classmates takes you away from your focus.
You made a good point, but I'd also like to add is a very nice expression. It shows that you recognize the contribution that someone else has made to the discussion in the first part, and you're also going to add your own opinion, which is different from what the first person said. Next.
if you're going to study online,
Sorry, but
you do need.
Well, I would like to add. May I say something?
Sorry, but, which Ronnie says, or may I say something, which James said, are two different ways in which you can interrupt a discussion. You see that the first one was purposely done for you, not in a very polite way, show you how not to do it. And James says, may I say something, which is a very polite way to enter a discussion. Next.
Sorry, but
You need. Please let me finish.
Please let me finish is a very nice way to hold the floor. What does it mean to hold the floor in a discussion? It means to establish your position as the speaker. All right? So someone else is trying to interrupt, but you want a chance to finish whatever argument you're presenting. So you say, please let me finish. Okay? Very nice. Next.
As I was saying, that's true, but if you're studying online,
As I was saying, is used when you're returning to your to speaking, to whatever you were saying, when someone has interrupted you. Okay, it's a way of saying, okay, now I'm talking again, as I was saying. All right, next.
okay, don't get me wrong. I mean, there are good resources on the internet.
Alex uses "don't get me wrong." Now, this is an interesting expression because when we say this, what we're saying is that I've been explaining something, I've been presenting a certain point of view, but I do understand that there is another point of view, and I accept that, and I understand that. However, I do still have my opinion. So we use that when we are taking into account the other opinion as well. Next.
so in conclusion, in a nutshell, can we just kind of sum up and say that
Okay. The last three phrases were used by Ronnie to end the discussion. So in conclusion, in a nutshell. In a nutshell just means in short. Or can we sum up by saying? Can we sum up means can we summarize? All right. So that's a nice way to end a discussion by including everyone in it. It's not as if one person is deciding to end the discussion. She's sort of asking everyone's permission by saying, can we sum up by saying? Okay? I hope this lesson has given you a number of different expressions that you can use when you're taking part in a discussion. All right? If you'd like to do a quiz on this subject, please go to our website, www.ingvid.com. Thanks very much for watching and good luck with your English.
Hello, ma'am. Do we have time for another video or?
So 5 minutes you have.
5 minutes?
5 to 6, yeah.
That's a lengthy video. Another video is a lengthy video.
Okay.
Should I play it or not?
Okay. The other person has got to log in 5 minutes more. She'll start at 12:15.
Right.
So till
So
12:15, you have
yes,
time.
we have another 7 to 8 minutes. 5 to 6 minutes.
Yes.
Okay, okay.
Yes.
I'll just play a part of it.
Okay. Okay.
Is that okay? A
Yeah,
part of
it's
it,
okay. At least.
not the complete video.
Ha. Part of it. You're not audible, Aparna madam. Got disconnected.
Okay, one second. I will.
Aparna madam, your audio is muted. You need to unmute your audio.
Hello, ma'am.
Ah, yes. Now you are audible.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. Actually, I think I will not play the other video because it takes
Okay.
more time.
More time.
So
Okay.
maybe we can have interaction for a couple of minutes,
Ha. Ha.
uh, if it is okay.
Yes. 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 Yes.
Um, Now, I would suggest the participants, especially the students who know that they have to participate in a GED,
Ha.
to practice these sessions more. The practical session is more important than the theoretical one. So it's just like learning about swimming, how to swim. So as long as the theory classes are going on, you will not know the depth of the water. So you have to get into the water and only analyze where you are. So participation is the only key to success. So practice, practice, practice. So don't
Practice them.
hesitate to participate. Don't hesitate to participate. Don't think whether you will be able to share your views well or not, whether you have good communication skills or not. But then we learn from various sessions. So
Okay.
participation is the key to success. That's all.
Okay. Okay. That was really a wonderful session. I mean, all the details, even the minute details you have explained to the students. And what is more important is the practice. And uh, in most of the interviews, this has become part of selection, process. GD is there. They want to test the confidence level of the students and the fluency and their interaction, soft skills, and all those things. So the question here asked is one of the participants. Now, on which topics they have got to prepare?
For a GD.
For the GD.
Actually, yes, that's what I was discussing, that we can broadly categorize the topics into three. Generally, they can be prepared with current affairs, general topics at national level and international level, see what is happening around you. So the best sources, newspapers, and watching English news channels. So watching the debates and discussions, especially now. So friends, remember the weekend discussions and debates that go on are very important and they're going to help you. So you definitely get some information from them. So be thorough with current affairs. Be thorough with, because the topic for GD is never announced beforehand. It is not announced 1 hour or 1 day before. Right. So usually the topics will be current affairs. And usually it's like that when the students go for an interview. During recruitment process, it is that. So sometimes they may be given abstract topics also, as I had said earlier. Abstract topics. A quote can be given or a statement can be given and they are asked to have a discussion on it. So that is a test for definitely the listening, speaking skills, where the fluency, accuracy is tested, their interpretation, their thinking skills also,
Hmm. Presence of
assessed.
mind.
Essence of mind.
Mind.
Yes, yes.
So what you advise them is current affairs. So
Current
they
affairs.
should keep this as a regular habit, reading the
Regular habit.
newspapers,
Yes,
listening to the news, and
yes.
only then, just overnight they cannot prepare for GD and then
True,
production. This is
true,
a
true.
process. They have
That
to
should be a
equip
regular
themselves.
habit. That should be a regular
Regular
habit.
one. Mm.
Yes.
Now, one of the participants again here has asked that could you please suggest some of the websites for GD?
Um, like I mean, that more than the websites, what I would say is practice, practice
Okay.
the discussions. Just like that, involve yourself in a discussion with your friends and on a topic that you are interested in. For example, the latest thing is the new education policy. People are talking a lot about this new education policy. So you can have now, though, because we have lockdown and we are not able to meet one another, just have a Zoom meeting and have a discussion. So the websites, see, this is, I would say, um, because it is a test for speaking skill, you need practice. Students require practice. The more they practice, the better it is. So as long as we are listening to certain things, we feel everything is fine. Okay, I'm confident. But you need to, get into that session, practical session.
Okay. Okay. Yes. There are a lot of appreciation for your talk here. They have typed, it is very, very essential topic for us to know. It was very, very informative. And they have said, wonderful session, madam. You had made it very interesting with the videos and audios. It was like watching a practical session for them, though it is online. And then they have so many people have written. It was very wonderful, good, informative, and all that. Madam, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
And
ma'am.
um,
Thank you for
for
giving me this opportunity to be one of
yes,
the resource persons.
it,
I would have played another video, but that was a slightly lengthier one, and so I restrained myself.
now, if you
So
give the link, maybe
yes,
we will
definitely.
post it in the WhatsApp groups, their email, and all other. They can watch it on
Yes,
their
yes,
own.
sure, ma'am. I will share. I will share.
Yes, yes. Madam,
So,
on behalf of management members of V.V.N Trust, which runs this V.V.N Degree College, CEA and A, principal of all the faculty members and students, I express my heartfelt gratitude to you because there were so many other problems. In spite of that, you made it up to reach out to the students and share your knowledge. And it only shows your concern and passion and love for the students, because this is the most important part of preparation for interview for the students, because GD is compulsory in all the interviews. So thank you. Thank you so much for connecting with us on this digital platform and being part of this knowledge enrichment program for the students at national level. Thank you.
thank,
Thank you very much.
thank you, ma'am. Thank you so
Yes.
much.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, students, now we'll move on to the second session of this last but one day of 15 days, um, 30 sessions, free online certificate course on effective English language development. As you all know, every day a test was conducted, and today also you will have a test uh, tomorrow from 11 to 12. you have got to write the main test, main exam. The questions will be asked from based on all the sessions, the 27 sessions that you have listened all these days. We will also post these videos, all the videos, 14 days videos in the WhatsApp group. And please watch it and come prepared for the test, because all of you know that you have invested your time to improve yourself. And if only you could perform well and score more than 50%, you will be getting course completion certificate. And if you are not able to score 50% of the marks, then also you will get a certificate, but that would be participation certificate. So the links, everything will be provided, and we would uh, post those videos. There are many students who are personally asking us, Madam, if there are any other courses, free online courses that you are conducting for the students, please let us know. So what I would suggest is, please subscribe to this channel, and whatever programs do come up, you will be intimated and you can be one of the beneficiaries of those programs. Now, the second session and the last session is on language learning through games. How you can take language learning as an entertainment also. So this session will be handled by Professor Dr. Dipti S, Assistant Professor in English from Government First Grade College for Women, Ramanagara, Bengaluru in Karnataka. Professor Dr. Dipti has BA Education degree from Regional Institute of Education, Mysore, MA degree from Central University of Hyderabad, where she bagged first rank with distinction. She has MA in Education degree from Karnataka State Open University, Mysuru, and MPhil degree from Central University of Hyderabad. Professor Dr. Dipti did her PhD under Bangalore University. Her topic was online certificate course in teaching young learners, University of Maryland, Baltimore country, USA, and online certificate course in critical thinking for English language teaching, EFL curriculum, University of Oregon, United States of America. She has done these courses also. During her stint at Regional Institute of English, South India, Dr. Dipti coordinated courses for primary and high school teachers in English language teaching, communication skills, and trainer skills. Professor Dr. Dipti has planned and executed innovative training programs through satellite and radio for teachers and students. Professor Dipti has also planned specific programs in communication skills and presentation skills for schools and colleges, including management institutes, engineering colleges, nursing colleges, etc. Professor Dr. Dipti has provided consultancy services to organizations like Ajim Premji Foundation Education Development Cell in their preparation for teaching learning materials, including educational software and IRI programs. She has presented papers at national and international seminars and conferences. To name a few, paper titled Ruling the Minds of the People, National Anthem and the Indian Identity at IIT Guwahati. She presented paper titled The Social Space of the Cemetery in the Ministry of Utmost Happiness at the national level conference on space at IIST, Trivandrum, and many others. Professor Dr. Deepti's book on English for Teaching for Secondary School Teachers was published by Cambridge University Press. Her articles are regularly published in the UGC recognized journals. Professor Dr. Dipti is invited as a resource person by various organizations and institutes in Karnataka as well as other states. She was a resource person for 2-day Hornby Cascade training in collaboration with British Council at Bangalore and Trivandrum on actively teaching young learners. Professor Dr. Deepti was also a resource person at workshop on telling tales, developing oral skills through storytelling at LTI Conference, Chennai, and many others. On behalf of President of V.V.N. Trust, Shri Arun Kumar B.S., Secretary General CA I.S. Prasad, Chief Executive for Academics and Administration, Dr. K. Sheshamurthy, Governing Council Chairman, Shri Rajkumar, Governing Council Co-Chairman, Shri Akhilesh Babu, Principal, Professor G. Venugopal, and all the faculty members and students, I extend a hearty, warm welcome to Professor Dr. Dipti to this knowledge-sharing national level student development program. On behalf of the participants also, I welcome you, Professor Dr. Dipti. Over to Professor Dr. Dipti.
Thank you, Prasanna ma'am. Good morning to all of you. And thank you for that elaborate introduction, which I'm sure would have, I hope it didn't intimidate people, because that is precisely not what we wanted to do. But first, let me congratulate you on organizing such an effective and such a well thought out program of benefit to so many students, and over a course of a long duration, because these 1-day, 2-day webinars, you just listen and you take the certificate and you actually forget them. But this is almost like a training, almost like a workshop. So I must congratulate you for organizing such a program. And I'm very happy to be a part of this program. So thank you for that. This being the last session, I think it is pertinent that it is on something very light and entertaining. So I hope the other sessions also might have been like that. But this probably is a little more than what you expect. So it is not really organized in such a manner that you actually take down notes and you listen to it. And I'm not going to give you a lot of knowledge on how to learn a language, but basically it's going to be an interactive mode of presentation. We are trying that. Let's see if it works out. And it's on a lighter topic. It's on language games. So what's the fun talking about language games without actually playing them? So I'm hoping that we can play some games and then in the process, see how language learning can be made possible. So let me start sharing my slides with you. Yes. Can you see them, Prasanna?
Yeah, yes. Can you make it full screen?
Yes.
Should be made. Yes. Now it's done.
Right. So we've titled it Language Games and Language Learning. What is the connection between the two? Can one learn a language by playing games? In fact, I would say there is no other way of learning a language other than through games, because that's how we learned our language. If you look at the languages that we speak, our own mother tongue, did we learn it in a school? Did we go to a school and they start teaching us? No, we did it through our games. Games we played with our parents. Remember the first game that a mother plays, Peekaboo? That's the game. And that's the beginning of language learning. That's how we all learned the language. Now, when that is the way we've learned our mother tongue, why should learning any other language be different? Why should it be so structured, as if you learn nouns, verbs, pronouns, adverbs, and then you ultimately don't know how to speak the language? You can define a noun, but you don't know how to use a noun. There is no real purpose in looking at language learning as a subject. You cannot look at English as a subject. In fact, it is not a subject. It is a language. A language is a language. And a language can be learned only by speaking. And the first thing one needs to remember is that we need to dissociate it from the way classroom curriculum is planned or school syllabus is planned. So the way we plan it is we present you a series of lessons, and then there are question and answers on it. It becomes, number one, a very boring exercise. Number two, a very exam oriented exercise. And number three, there is absolutely very little language use in the class, very little scope for language practice. So having seen that, it's time we dissociated language from that kind of a mode and actually start using it. See where language is used and try to incorporate that within our system. So right now, I'm not really going to talk about what modifications one can do within the college or school syllabus. That's another topic. But then as individuals, how does this affect us? How does one learn a language through games? That is what we will try and examine during this presentation. So first thing, that this is something that most people have spoken about and we all know. So basically the first thing is, let's re-examine again and again. Any number of times we re-examine, there is nothing wrong in it, because this we need to do it. Let's re-examine and see what is language learning. How is it language learning different from learning other subjects, right? Now look at all these. What is common among all these things? In the first thing, you can see someone is cooking. Second one, you can see someone is swimming. Third, painting. And then fourth, stitching. And the fifth, first aid. Now, I would say, I'm sure you all would say, agree that these are all skills. But more importantly, I would say these are life skills. All these. In fact, cooking is a life skill. And I would say swimming also. Even painting, I would say, is a life skill, because during Corona, you would have seen most of us survived because of this. Some of us survived through painting, some of us survived through dance, singing. Those things definitely add value to the lives. So they are life skills. Now, if all these are life skills, so there should be one more picture there to show that language is also a life skill. So how do you learn a language and how is it different? Now, how does one learn cooking? Very simple. One just needs to ask this question. How did I learn cooking? I didn't go to a cooking class and nobody taught me how to do cooking. Now, of course, there are classes, but that's not how I learned. So for all these skills, people say there is need for an inherent competency in a person, or there is some aptitude for a particular thing in a person. That is true to some extent. Yes, there is an aptitude to learn a language also, which is why some of us learn 6, 7, 8 languages. Some of us can barely manage 1, 2, or 3 languages. That's okay. That inherent competency is there in all of us. But what helps us learn a language is the fact that it is also a skill. A skill is something that can be mastered, that can be practiced, that can be learned. So once you realize that language learning is a skill, then the important thing to see is that it needs to be practiced. It needs to be sustained over a period of time, continuous practice. Now, every time, like this is an example that is often quoted, and I think it still remains my favorite example. Swimming, you can go to any number of swimming classes, any number of theory classes. You can go to the best institution in the world to learn swimming. You can have the best instructor giving you all the lessons in swimming. But until you get into the water and you actually push your hands and legs and try all sorts of tricks, you cannot swim. That's the fact. That's the same with language learning. How much ever you know about nouns and verbs, how many ever spoken English classes you attend, until you start speaking, you cannot learn the language. So that is why I said language learning should be put into this bracket. This is where we need to, this has to be underlined several times. We need to remember this all the times. Each time we read a lesson in the class, remember, my point is not to learn the lesson. My aim should not be to learn the question and answers of that lesson. My aim should be able to talk about that lesson. That is the most important thing. That is where I'm using the skill. That is why I keep saying, remember always, even in classrooms, language learning is a skill, not really a subject which needs to be memorized. You don't have to learn where was this person born, when was he born. Those are just memory-based activities. They definitely do not. You will mug up, you'll go and write the examination. But then when somebody asks you a real-life question, one will not be able to face it. So first thing to remember, it is a skill. Now, if I have to learn cycling, I have to cycle every day. So if I have to speak a language, I have to speak every day. Do I do it every day? If I'm not doing it every day, then I'm definitely not going to learn it. So how do I ensure that I speak the language every day? That is very, very important. So once you realize that language learning is a skill, and then I am going to make it a point to learn that skill, then there are a few things. Any skill, I think all these steps that we give here are specific for, can be applied to any skill. First thing to learn a skill is to own it. Own it in the sense you say, it is a skill I want to learn and I'm going to learn it my way. There are different methods people will advise you. People will say, no, you want to learn a language, you first learn the grammar. Some will say you have to make a vocabulary list. You have to read newspapers. You have to listen to news on TV. There are hundreds of methods and hundreds of people will suggest hundreds of methods. That is fine. But the thing is, you need to find your method. What is the one that makes you energized, that gives you the interest, that makes you really want to learn? That is the first thing you need to identify. So first thing is to own it. Find your own way. I am going to learn the language through this. Right? You find your own way. It can be a combination of many ways. That is again left to you. So first thing is to own it. Second thing, again, going back to the first slide, learn by doing. You cannot learn by just writing down notes. You have to learn it by doing. Whatever you learn in the class, come back and do it. So without this, one cannot learn a language. I keep highlighting that. So learn by doing. The third is a very, very interesting step, which you may think. See, one always believes that a teacher is someone who knows everything. And only when you know everything, you can teach others. But with language, you don't have to worry about it. This is something that you can learn. You can start doing even if you don't know the language very well. I will give you an example. I had a student who was partially visually challenged. So she was a BA student and she was learning the language. She passed the examination. She was not a very good communicator. She was not very good in communicating in English, but then she was very interested in the language. So what happened is, the final year BA, we don't have language. So what happened? 2 years she learned the language. She was not really happy with the way it went. You know how it happens in colleges. You basically learn it for the examination. You answer the questions, you pass. So she really wanted to practice it. So towards the final year, the last 2 semesters, she would come on and off and we would chat. But definitely she was not ready for what she went on to do. As soon as the degree was over, what she did was she was staying idle at home because I think she one of the papers she failed in one of the papers, so she couldn't join for higher studies. She was staying at home, and what happened is in the nearby house there were all these children learning going to these government schools, and they started coming to her asking her to help them with their homework. So she would tell them how to do and all. And then in the meantime, they also started asking her questions about English. And here was an opportunity. She started teaching them. Here was a person who was not very good in the language, but she started teaching them the language. Whatever little she knew, she started conversing them with English. She knew the basic conversation things. And once she started conversing with them in English, and they started replying to her, and they started bringing in more and more phrases and vocabulary and structures, her own knowledge of the language improved. So teach the language to someone, and definitely, because I know it from experience, that's why I'm telling you that is one good way of learning the language. Even if you know very little, teach it to your siblings, teach it to your family members, teach it to your friends. And then you don't have to say, I'm going to teach it. You're going to say, let's learn something new today. Let's learn how to greet someone, how to compliment someone. Such things, and then you start teaching it, and then those things get internalized as structures in your mind. It becomes very easy to use those words and those structures. So teach it to someone is a very good strategy. The fourth one is any skill. You know if you're good in that skill or not. Each small step, each small positive outcome will give you the confidence to go the next step. So what happens is that you do something, maybe 2-3 days, you have practiced a little. Just test a little. There are these multiple online tests available freely. Just go and take a test every day. Let me do a test today, and then just do a simple test today. Those scores initially may be a little scary. You may not really score well, but then believe me, as you progress, it will give you a lot of confidence. So test yourself. And the most important thing in the classrooms or at home, find a partner. Without a partner, one cannot practice language. Of course, though there are ways in which you can practice it when you're alone, which we will discuss. But the best method is to find a partner. And it doesn't matter if your partner is a better speaker. If your partner also speaks at the same level as you, it is fine, because both of you will find ways to overcome those gaps. So it's better find a partner. Now, these are a few steps which you can apply to learn any skill and especially to learn a language. Now, I'm going on saying learn a language. I am not talking about learning only English. Why I'm not trying to do that is to show you that English is not different from the other languages. It is the same as learning any other language. It's like learning Telugu, Tamil. See, we are not very scared of learning those languages. If we want to, we will try. We try to converse with people in Tamil or Telugu, even though we are afraid that we may make mistakes. But the same thing doesn't apply with English. We are very scared of speaking in English because to English we have attributed a kind of status, which I think it's time we denied it. It doesn't require that kind of a status. It is a language like all the other languages. And if we can speak the other languages, we can definitely speak English. So that is why I keep saying to learn a language or to learn any skill, these are some of the steps that we can follow. Now, why are we, see first, so far I spoke about learning a language. How does one learn a language? So why are we talking about using language games for learning a language? There are many ways of learning a language, and I'm sure the past few days you have gone through many of those. So there are several ways in which one can learn a language. But why am I advocating language games? Why am I saying do it through language games? Is because of those factors. One is, like I told you, the most important thing in learning a language is to learn by doing. And language games give you the right opportunity to do that. You will actually be doing it and learning the language. The second most important thing is stress-free. I notice it always in my class that the moment we say, let's talk in English, there is this initial hesitation, there is this worry, there is this anxiety written on all the faces. So the first thing is to get rid of that, get rid of the stress. And how best? So I never say, let's practice English. I say, let's play a game. Immediately there is that stress is completely gone and then everybody is very happy. The basic requirement for learning anything is that anxiety-free, stress-free status. Once you get into that consciousness, then everything you learn will just straight away get into your memory. So it's easy to internalize. The first most important thing is to be stress-free. Third thing, practice every day. Initially in my college, this happens. The first few days, they're all very excited. They all promise. We even take an oath. The girls take an oath saying, we promise to speak in English and only English. We have actually written down an oath, which happens for the first day, maybe a week. Then 1 week after that, they all get back to Tindi aita, uta aita, hegidira, chanagidira. And then even if I'm around, they only say, did you have your breakfast? And then revert to Kannada. So that doesn't work. With language learning, you have to be very clear. I am going to learn a language. That means I am going to practice it every day. Any skill, that is what happens. Without practice, one cannot learn it. So practice it. The other thing is it's very entertaining. Who wouldn't like to play a game? At any age, people love to play a game. You ask me now, I'm ready to play any game. So everybody finds it entertaining. And what is entertaining? What is pleasurable? See, we remember all the movies we saw. You ask the titles of movies, our students will be able to tell you all the titles, all the songs, all the actors from, I don't know, so many years ago. They still can remember that. But then when it comes to language, what did you learn in first semester? Nobody remembers. Second semester, absolutely no. So why is this happening? Because it is not entertaining. It's boring. Yes, you are sitting in a class and somebody is giving you a lecture and asking you to take down notes and study it for examination. It doesn't entertain us. But language games are not like that. They are entertaining. And what is entertaining will remain in your mind. So that is one thing. And the most important thing, memory. You will remember them. You will remember the rules of games. Even now, if I ask you the rules of those 5 stones and all the games we played, we all remember those rules. We didn't learn them in any school. So when you play, you learn it and you internalize it. So those are the benefits of using language games to learn a language. So now we have basically defined our title. So using language games for language learning. What is language learning and why should one use language games? So let's try and play a few games. Now, I'm sure most of you would have some of you at least would have assumed that the moment we say games, you might have thought of online games. No, I'm definitely not talking about that. Also because I belong to a generation which didn't depend on all these things. So I am definitely not a part of that. So, but I will definitely tell you how that can also be used. But I'm talking about real games, real life games where you interact with not a computer or online virtual people, but you talk to real people. So those are the kinds of games that we will discuss today. We will play a few games. So for that, let me first, like I told you, find a partner. Very, very important thing for this. And I have a partner with me today. My friend is there. So my partner is Indu. Now she is here today, and I'm going to play the game with her. Okay. But before that, let me play the first game. I'm sorry, I was talking about the second game. So for the first game, all these category of games are called play acting games, and I feel they're the best way of learning a language. See, how does one learn a language? Is most of us learn languages through movies. Movies are very good influences. So you watch a Telugu movie. I learned Telugu like that. I would watch a movie and come back and try and mouth those dialogues. I'll stand in front of the mirror and say, Nenu, ekkada poyanu. Just like that, whatever randomly comes to my mind, I would just speak. And then those Telugu dialogues keep repeating in your mind, and that's how. So those are called a kind of role playing or kind of play acting games. I would act as if I was someone else, and then I would play that role, and then I would keep using those. This is something that all of us do. All of us do this. So this, you have to do it a little more consciously, and you have to do it with a specific purpose. So what happens? How do I play this game? Morning I wake up and I'm going to ask myself, who am I today? And then I can be anyone. I don't want to be boring myself. Deepti, I'm bored of myself every day. So every morning I'm going to be a different person. So this morning, let me wake up and let me say I am going to be, Aishwarya Rai. This morning I am Aishwarya Rai. So I wake up and I say, or maybe Amitabh Bachchan. Yeah, Amitabh Bachchan would be nice. I would say I am Amitabh Bachchan today. And then I wake up and I say, oh, I am Amitabh Bachchan. What a lovely day. And then I wake up and say, what's for breakfast today? What's for breakfast? And then I move around the entire day, or at least for a particular period of time. I am acting the role of that person. Whatever happens in the house, because right now it will be in the house. Whatever I am doing in the house for the first 1 hour after I wake up will be as if I am Amitabh Bachchan. So I will play the role of Amitabh Bachchan. All the dialogues that I speak in English are not Deepti's dialogues, but Amitabh Bachchan's dialogues. So every day, 1 hour or maybe half an hour, initially half an hour, but I'm sure you will enjoy it, that you will start doing it for the whole day. At the end of it, you may even believe that you are Amitabh Bachchan himself, so which is possible. So that is something you can do. So you wake up and say, today I have the mood to be this politician. So let me be this person. And then I speak. I go to the kitchen and say, will you give me coffee? Because you speak like a politician. Or can I have breakfast? Or some of us actually cook. So you can actually go and cook and say, breakfast is there, please have whatever. Depending on the role you decide to play that. So play acting games are something you can play every day. So decide, or you can do weekly ones. Monday, I'm going to be the role of, I'm going to be this person. Next week, next Tuesday, I'm going to be this person. Do it, because this is the only way you can practice language alone without a partner. That is why this is a very useful game. You don't need anybody to play this game. The second game is an extension of the first game. So like I told you, I'll need a partner for this. So I'm going to call my partner. Indu, you're there?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah. Okay, my partner is here. So we are going to play this game, right? I've called her. Imagine I've just given her a call, and then she receives the call, and I say, hello.
Hello.
I am Kiran Mazumdar Shaw. Am I speaking to Indu?
Yes.
Have you heard of my name?
Not really.
Really? I thought I'm quite a famous person. Kiran Mazumdar Shaw. I am from your own city. How come you don't know about me?
Yes. I've seen a lot of your name in the newspapers. Yeah. So how are you doing today?
I am fine. You know why I called you?
Yeah.
We are on this CSR move. So what we are trying to do is we are planning to adopt a few colleges. And when we saw the list of these websites, your college seemed very interesting. There are some very good faculty there. I think including you. You seem to be a very good teacher. So I thought, why not call you and find out what are your requirements? We are planning to give you some money for some ventures. What do you think about it?
That will be wonderful. We would be very excited to have, your products and your help, and so something that can help us improve our college.
Okay. Oh, that's nice, Indu. So what I would also ask you to do is, I will give you my mail ID.
Okay.
Could you send an email? Is there a problem?
No, you can
Okay,
carry on.
this just popped in. Okay, right. So please send us an email giving us a list of your requirements, and let's see what we can do about it.
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much.
That was nice, Indu. I need to call a few more colleges and then let me see if they need some help. Maybe Prasanna ma'am's college, I'll call and then find out if they need any assistance. So that was very nice talking to you, Indu. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Telephone calls are excellent ways of learning a language. Call anybody. See, calling as Deepthi is not very interesting. Nobody loves it. Who wants to call as Deepthi and talk? You can be anybody, be a different person, call the other person. You can be anyone you want. What an opportunity it is. You can be anyone you want. And the best thing about it is, like I told you will build confidence in yourself because you are not you're somebody else, and that somebody speaks with confidence, that somebody speaks with a lot of power, so that automatically translates into your personality and then you become that person, so it helps you build confidence. And then you are, see, basically the problem with language practice in colleges or classrooms are you only take up one aspect. Today we're going to do passive voice, today we're going to do reported speech. Language doesn't work like that. We don't speak only in reported speech one day, only in passive voice one day. We don't use only nouns one day. We use language as it is in use. And these games provide you good opportunity. You're not restricted by grammar or vocabulary. And the other thing is you will learn both formal and informal use of language. You will see when you speak to a friend, you will use informal language, but it's a formal occasion, you will use formal language. That's the learning from such games. And then they're very, very so remember, playing by yourself or having a partner, these play acting games are excellent resources of language games. The other games are very easy. See, I am basically talking about games that that are very practical, that one can do. Anyone can do this, and you don't need many resources to do these games. The first few games, I mean, these riddles, these are some things that we often do. These are things we do in Kannada. We call them ogatus. You can do this in English. I'm giving it at the basic level, assuming that we are learning or we are just beginning of practicing the language. So look at a few of these. I have legs but not walk, a strong back but work not, too good. Wait, I can't see this. Let me just see. Two good arms but reach not, a seat but sit and tarry not. If you feed it, it lives. If you water it, it dies. I'm sure those of you who are seeing these know the answers or can guess the answers. That's why I'm leaving the slide for a little longer so that in case you know the answers, you can put them in the chat box. So the second one, what's the answer? What has hands but cannot touch? What gets more wet as it dries? What has teeth but cannot bite? What kind of room has no windows or doors? These are guessing games and these are available everywhere. You just have to find them on the internet and then you can play. But for me, what is more important is this next thing. Make your own riddle. See, answering riddles will not help you build a language. You will probably just gain the vocabulary. You will know a few words. But then making your own riddles is the more important thing. So you make your own riddles. Describe something from nature. See, you can describe a fruit. You can say it is big, it is round, it is green with stripes, it has red flesh inside and black seeds. Which fruit am I talking about? You can talk about fruit. You can talk about people. You can describe a person and ask the other person to guess them. You can describe something from nature. You can say it is seen only at night, and poets have spoken praises about it. What am I talking about? So making your own riddle is important because this is where you actually get to practice your language. Now, while you're answering riddles, where you're listening to riddles, it improves your listening. The other thing is it improves your vocabulary with regard to a particular fruit. For example, if you're describing a fruit, specific vocabulary related to fruit in terms of its shape, in terms of its color, in terms of its texture. These are words you will learn. So specialized vocabulary one gets to practice and use of structures as in real life. So these are games that you can do. The second one were these riddle games. This is a very classic game, 20 questions. This is something that you can play with your partner. Now let me see. I'm going to play this game with you. I have these many questions, and remember the answer is going to be only yes or no. So if you were to ask me, is it an actor? I would say yes. I'm assuming that you're asking me these questions and I'm answering you. Remember, I will only say yes or no. Is it an actor? Yes. Is it a man? Yes. Is he alive? No. Is he from Bollywood? No. Is he from Collywood? Yes. Has he won the national award? Yes. Is he also a singer? Yes. Now the answer is for you to guess. And I'm sure you all would have guessed this as the answer. The 20 questions is a game that you can play anytime with your friends as you wish. Now is your turn. Now I played 20 questions with you. Now you have to ask. Now I don't want you to guess. I'm sure you're very smart. You will guess all these personalities in seconds. But the more important question is, what are the questions you will ask for these to make your friend guess these personalities? What are those 20 questions that will lead you to guess? So what are the questions you're going to ask me to name these personalities? I want you to make a list of those questions and then share them. So I am sure by the end of this presentation, you will give me the answers for all these. The first two, I'm sure you have seen. These three. I'm sure you will give me the, I know, and you know why they're all wearing masks. I don't have to tell you why they're wearing masks. So, but you need to give me those questions and you have to give me those answers at the end of this. So this is a 20 questions game which you can play. The other thing is the word games. Now, see, all the while I was not talking about specific games targeted at, because such games, there are several. We can talk about word level games like hangman or letters, but those are not the ones that I'm talking about. I'm talking about using language in real use, where you use language in all its aspects. You use structure, you use vocabulary. It's not unreal kind of a situation. These are real life language uses. That's why I picked up those games in which you use language in its complete sense. But some of these games are also very important, because unless you have a good vocabulary, you don't have the confidence to speak the language. So building vocabulary is important, and definitely the classic game is word building. Now, word building, we may be playing only one version. There are several versions of playing the word building. The last letters, that is the Antakshari. That's the classic way of playing the game. You use the last letter and make another word and you play the game. But you can also do variations with word game. You can say, we are going to play word building with only 4-letter words. So your repertoire of those 4-letter words, vocabulary of 4-letter words improves. And then as it improves, you can go on to 5-letter words, 6-letter words, 7-letter words. You need to use only those. That is one way. You can say, we will use only naming words, or only action words, or only words of description. So any specific category. This word building is related to words that you find in a living room, or words that you find in a specific place, in a hotel. Only those words you have to use and build. So word building, you can have several variations of word building. And the other game is tic-tac-toe, for which I think I'll have to start sharing the other screen. Let me try if I can share a whiteboard and show you how to play this game. Yes. Can you see this? Yeah, I think Prasanna can see this.
Yes, yes.
This is something that is there online, but I don't want you to play those cross and knots. That's not the way we're going to play this. You have to, this is some game that we all know, but then you decide, you and your partner. For you say that I'm going to write words that start with B. And your partner says, I'm going to write words that start with C. So your chance is first, and then you write the word. Oh my God. I hope you can still read it. Pet. And my partner writes the word. Yes. So again, because I need to block him, I'm going to write something here that says, and remember, this is my game, so I'm going to win it. There is no way I'm going to let my partner win. So I'm definitely going to make my partner write here. So we write calm. Remember, he only has to write words. He or she has to write words with C. So the next word I write here. And then, now you know who wins. Like I told you, I will be winning this without doubt. So I win this. So tic-tac-toe, again, 3-letter words, 4-letter words, any number of words you can use, and you can play this game. Let me get back to my slide. Yes. Yes. Yeah, I have not really spoken more about. So tic-tac-toe, you can do with 5-letter words, or I just showed you how you can do it with words starting with a particular letter, and then 5-letter words also. Word association games, most of these psychologists use these games, saying they will reveal your personality. They learn more about your personality. They tell you a color and ask you to tell all the words that start with that color, or they will talk about a shape and ask you to say whatever comes to your mind first. So these are easy games because they will also help you build on your vocabulary. So you just name a color. You say red, and your partner tells whatever comes to that person's mind when he or she hears the word red. So there are random words, but in the specific language, but they will help you build your vocabulary. So word association is a game that you can play. Yes, treasure hunt. I have not given you details about this game. I think during the discussion, because I would prefer that, and probably we'll have more of that. We will discuss this in greater detail. But treasure hunt is some game where you don't have to hide a treasure here. The treasure here is learning the language. What you do is you write clues. You write clues and place it in different places in the house. So you can write a clue and then say the first item will be found in a place where you find food. So it's obviously kitchen. You go to the kitchen and then you search there and you find the next clue. It says the next clue is found in this place where you take a bath. So such clues, writing those clues give you good practice. So that is why I think treasure hunt is a very good game. Again, remember, all these are games you can play at home, and you can play with your family, or you can play with your friends. That is why I have spoken about these games. So treasure hunt, again, you can give clues about place, things, and actions. That is the end of the presentation. And like I told, happy gaming. I hope you play more and more games, and then you find language learning to be a very, very interesting and entertaining exercise. And in the process, you also learn language. So now, hopefully, there will be discussions, and then we can continue that. So thank you all.
Thank you, Professor Dipti. It was very interesting session. Now, if we could go back to that slide where you had given.
Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry.
Oh, you can. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, tell me.
Because they have sent the answers.
Okay, they have? Okay.
Riddles. If we could go back to that slide.
Sure. Yeah. Now the question is if I remember the answers. So let's see. Okay, where are we? Yes. This is the first one?
Yes. See, the answer is chair. Is that correct?
Yes,
correct.
Yes, that's correct.
I have legs but not walk, strong
True.
back but work not, two good arms but reach not, yes, seat but sit and tarry not. Yes, chair is the right answer.
Yes,
chair. Yes. Many of them have given this answer.
Good. Okay.
Next is watermelon.
If you feed it, it lives. If you water it, it dies? No.
No, is there any... Does this answer suit any of the riddle that you have?
No, that probably suits the next slide. See, in the next slide, I'd asked them to write a riddle about describing a fruit, and I'd given an example. So probably that's why they've answered that. That's fine. Yes, it does answer a question.
Yeah, and one more answer is nightingale.
Okay. No.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, that's probably again for this, which was moon. I think describe something from nature, and yes. So moon is the answer. Definitely not nightingale.
Not nightingale. Okay. Then another answer is comb.
Sorry?
Comb.
Comb. Yes. Correct. Yes, that's
Which
true.
Is that?
What has
that
teeth?
answer is for?
What has teeth cannot bite.
What has teeth but cannot bite? Comb.
Yes, that's a comb. Yes, good.
Raj Kumar.
Yes, okay.
Actor.
That they did.
From
yes.
Kannada film down.
It's
not Collywood, but it is Sandalwood.
Yeah, I thought there might. So actually, is he from Collywood? The answer should have been no. That is what. After I did that, I thought, yes, the answer is no. Yes.
Sandalwood. Okay. Sandalwood is the answer. That also they have mentioned in the chat box. And one more answer. Now the other answer, they have probably not got it. The riddles.
Oh, the riddles.
Uh-huh.
Okay. No, I think we should let it be there and let them find
Let
the
them
answers.
find it.
Yes, let them find it.
Yeah, it's an exercise for them.
Yes,
it's an exercise.
yes, they need to find the answers.
Prakash Raj.
Yes, okay. I'm
Sania
sure.
Nehewal.
Very good. Okay.
Yes, those answers are correct.
Yes.
Then they have not been able. No, it is Malala. Malala is
yes,
correct.
yes, yes.
The other two, they have not been able to identify.
Not yet. Okay. They still have time. They can
they can do it
there
anytime.
and they can. Yes, yes.
Okay. Yes. Mushroom is one answer which they had given. I don't know whether it's for riddle or.
I think they must have given it for the riddle, but I don't think that suits any of these.
Any of those. Okay.
Yes, yes. What kind of room has no windows or doors? Yes, yes. That's the answer for that last riddle.
Last riddle. Okay.
Yes.
What
yes.
kind of room has no windows? Then there is fire. Fire.
Yes, that's the second one. If you feed it, it lives. If you water it, it dies. Yes.
Oh, it's
fire.
Then okay, that's by Chandana. So that's the correct answer.
Very
Another
good.
is by Kalsum. Clock.
Clock. Yes, correct. So I think they've got almost all the answers. Yes.
All the answers. Yes.
Yes.
They have got all the answers. Yes. Malala and then Prakash Raj. Kuvempu.
Yes, they got it. Good.
Correct answer?
Yes.
Oh, many have got that answer here.
They've got it except this one person. I think they've got all the answers.
Yes, yes. Kuvempu, Shiv. Sunil, they have Sunil, comedian.
Yes, correct.
Is it?
Yes, so they've got all. They've got all.
Two answers are there. One is Chiranjeevi and Sunil. Which
Sunil is
right
correct. Sunil is correct. Yes.
Okay, okay, okay. Okay, so they have got answer for all the questions.
Yes, they've answered all. Good.
Good. That is good. Now they have asked, could you give some link for some website where they can go and learn these games?
There are several. I would suggest. See, basically, I would suggest the British Council website, and also this. I think that is the Cambridge ESL website. ESL is English as second language. You just have to Google ESL and you will find a specific website. And then there are very many interesting games there. There are ideas how to play these games. And yes, British Council website.
British Council website.
Yes.
Okay. And then
the Learning English website in British Council. Once they go to British Council, they will see the link there for learning English or for practice English. They click on that and there are games for them to practice. That's available there.
Okay.
There are also several apps, but like I told you, they are not, see, some of these are clue cards, and but the best app for them to learn a language would be Duolingo. Duolingo. So 2 languages, Lingo. That's a good app which is available on their mobile phones. That app is used.
Duolingo. Okay.
Yes.
That app. Okay. Now, more of appreciation we are receiving in the chat box. That's a link. It was very interesting. Very interesting. They have written that. Yes. Thanks, ma'am. It was very interesting. Thanks, ma'am. It was very informative. It was a wonderful session, very interactive session, and all that. Yes. Anagrams are also there. They can take one word and then go on building words using that word. So
not just anagram. The other thing is doing these abbreviations. I find students find it very interesting. You just give VIP and ask them to arrive at whatever they want. So they can see, not a standard abbreviation. Take any word and say VIP. We always do it. We do it very, very informally. Take up any word, any abbreviation, and try to expand it in your way. Do it any way you want. That's a very interesting exercise.
Yes. So your session was not just useful for the students, but also useful for the teachers. I think we need to change our methodology, introduce more of games while teaching the
Yes.
lessons, so that students, we would be emphasizing more on participative teaching.
Yes.
If we
Yes.
involve students in games and help them in building their vocabulary, sentence structure, and all those things. Those were really very, very wonderful tips that you have given, Professor Dipti. Uh, yes, I was just going through the, just checking out whether there are any questions.
Questions.
Okay. So could you once again tell, revise the tip for them to improve the language? You have said that only through language it is, but there should be a proper practice.
Yes, yes. Most important thing is practice and doing it consistently every day. So either you do it with yourself if you have no partner, or if you have a partner, ensure that you practice with that partner every day. Now, if you cannot meet the partner, do it over the telephone, like we just discussed. However, but even one day you should not miss it. That should be a kind of a rigorous discipline that you should bring into your language learning. That is the only thing that is required. Do it every day and consistently. That if you do, I'm sure that is the only tip that I can give, because basically there are several things that you do. But remember, did I do today? Did I practice English today? Or that is one question you need to ask just before you go to bed. That if you do, I'm sure you will pick up the language. You will learn how to practice.
So you are given a lot of tips, even though they don't have English speakers around them, because one of the participants had typed,
Yes, yes.
saying that I want to talk in English with my friends, but I don't have anybody around me who would speak in fluent English. But then you have given tips that without them also they can
Yes.
learn English,
True. True.
make it more entertaining and all. So
Yes.
thank you so much, Dr. Professor Dipti. On behalf of our management, V.V.N. Trust, which runs this college V.V.N. degree, on behalf of CEA, Governing Council Chairman and Co-Chairman, and our Principal, Professor G. Venugopal, and all the faculty members, I extend our hearty gratitude to you for accepting. You have a very busy schedule, I know it. In spite of that, you accepted our invitation and you eagerly became the part of this knowledge enrichment platform. Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing
It's
your
my pleasure.
knowledge.
It's my pleasure. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Yes,
I hope it was useful.
yes, it was this. Okay, participants. Now, let me give you the schedule of tomorrow, the last day of this certificate course. Now, this certificate course, which was planned and designed with various modules for 15 days with 30 sessions, will come to an end tomorrow. So some of you have joined in the middle, but then I had advised you that these videos from day one are available on YouTube. What you have to do is go to YouTube, type in the search bar V.V.N. Degree College, and you will get inauguration, first day's video, and then day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, till day 14 you will get. That is till today. All the videos are available there. Please go through it, and those videos will be there anytime. You can go through it. And then you have our email ID, and we have WhatsApp groups. So any doubts you have got, you can clarify there also. We have also posted certain links which our resource persons had given to us in to help the participants to build up effective English language. And I'm sure that you would make use of these things. Now, 10 marks. For 10 marks, you have attended the test all these days. Tomorrow, it would be for 40 marks based on all the sessions. Again, MCQs, please attempt. The test will start at 11. So 11 to 11:45. Till 11:45, we'll have test. And then we'll move on to the next program, valedictory program. Please don't miss the valedictory program. We are going to have Professor Dr. G. Rajgopal, retired professor from EFL University, Hyderabad. And he is also going to guide the students, going to give you tips regarding how to improve your language. Students, if you want to join the activities that are student oriented done here at V.V.N Degree College, please subscribe to this channel. Shortly, we are coming up with one more lecture series for students regarding the selection of careers, the opportunities that are there in the field of commerce. So please do subscribe to this channel and be part of these activities. And there are many students who are posting and asking us to conduct some programs on some particular topics they are suggesting. Ma'am, we would like to have these topics, and why can't you conduct and all that? Definitely, V.V.N Degree College is always very friendly towards students and always aims at conducting programs which would empower them and also enrich their knowledge. So be part of this and make use of the facilities that are provided. So students, thank you for being part of this. Stay at home, stay safe, take care, and stay blessed all the time. Good luck. Tomorrow at 11 o'clock, we'll be meeting again. All the details of your certificates we'll be discussing there.